behind doing it with comrades is one, it's not ordinary. It's a very challenging race to partake in. It requires a lot of hectic preparation. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of hard work. And there's times where you want to give up, not even at race day, but training to get there where you feel like it's too much. The mornings are too cold. It's quite an emotional journey. When I made the decision to partner with Tutuka, brought Saika into the picture, communicated to my firm, SNG Grant Thornton, communicated on social media. It was a way for me to hold myself accountable to the task that I was about to do. But that came when I sat alone. I always ask myself that, what if you can't do it? I'd never opened a crowdfunding account, and I didn't know how to go about marketing it. And I'm like, what if no one donates? How will that be seen? Will this be successful? So there was that one aspect of saying, will people donate? Will people hear my cry in terms of what I want to achieve and the picture I'm seeing? And on the other end is that these people, what if they didn't buy into that and I can't deliver on the day and I can't finish the race? What happens? And I remember my friend saying to me, you see, now you have to finish race. But what drove me is, why am I doing it? And the why for me is the feeling that every step I'll be taking towards the 90-kilometer route to Durban would in essence be contributing to buying an accounting textbook for someone at varsity, a textbook. It could be contributing to meals. So for me, that's the biggest why I did what I did in terms of running comrades. We have managed to raise just over 41,000. Surely I am a difference maker. And you'd ask me why. For me, it's really being over and above your designation and looking at your designation and saying, how can you plow back to the communities to go beyond what's expected of us? Not to do things because we want to be recognized, we want to be acknowledged. That's not the objective of a difference maker. The objective of a difference maker is driving impact, both in societies and our communities. And I believe I'm a difference maker due to those reasons. Tutuka, I've always said it, it's close to my heart, not because I'm a beneficiary, but because a lot of people I'm close to were beneficiaries of Tutuka. And also growing up from a family that's very fond of education, it's the only way I could show those lessons through partnering with Tutuka. And then Tutuka is such a great venture in that it has looked at the gaps in our society and community and is trying to extend a helping hand to bridge the gap in affording higher education, which is very steep in the country at the moment. And I felt a need or an urge to assist in that cause in terms of how can we as members of the profession give back and assist Tutuka in doing this. And the more we do it as members, it sparks light and shines light on a struggling student that there is hope. There are people that have a vested interest in our careers and progression. So that's why I decided to work very close with Tutuka to drive impact in our communities through education and empowering disadvantaged students that can't afford tertiary fees. In terms of career highlights, I'd say one, it's the promotions at work that I've been getting over the years, which ordinarily take a longer tenure in which to achieve. And to put it into perspective, moving from a newly qualified CA and being an audit partner takes a relatively long time, and for me to achieve it within the age and tenure that I did it in, I think that for me was a big highlight, a moment I still treasure today, and I still think, and I'll probably share later how I made it there. But yeah, I'd say making partner and director at SNG Grant Thornton just over 31 years has been my biggest highlight in my career. Came time, which was the morning in Pietermaritzburg, which was blistering cold. At that point, I think I had made peace that we're doing this. The race started, and there were lessons that the coach had drilled in me, and I'd agreed with them, and I knew why. And I just kept to that. Start off easy. Don't waste your energy. Conserve energy the first half. You're gonna need it the second half. So all the doubts as I was taking in the journey, they were starting to be eliminated because of how strong I was, because of how things were falling into place in terms of when I was taking my nutrition, when I was hydrating. Came 45 halfway mark, that's when I met up with my team water station, and they came to me and they're like, "You're in for a good time today." That again lessened the element of doubt. And fast forward to Westville, think 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers left. At that point, I knew it's done, no matter who says what. And that's when I came across the Tutuka students. Just 5 kilometers into, just before the finish. And for me, if you ask me what the highlight of my race was, it was meeting up with those Tutuka students. I remember it was a little last hill onwards and downwards to the stadium, and these kids saw me come. I don't know how they saw me. They probably tracking me. So they saw me come up, and they literally swarmed into the road, not thinking there's other runners. They distracted. They swarmed into the road, and they were shouting and screaming, and I was exhausted at that time. And one of the boys said, "Let's take you up this hill. It's the last one." And it was amazing how that picked me up. I don't know where I got the strength. I literally ran with them over the hill. And the sense of achievement, the sense of joy, the sense of objective met, the sense of I've made the donors proud as I was feeling the grass onto the Kingsmead Stadium in Durban, knowing very well it's done. Just before the finish line, it said 8:51. I was like, this is the day. And the feeling I got when I crossed the line was, I've done it. And the immediate thought it sparked in my mind is, wait, I am a difference maker. And everyone is capable of being a difference maker. And the sense of entitlement and joy, for me, it wasn't just about finishing and crossing the line, but it's the hopes that I was carrying through the 90 kilometers and everyone watching me and supporting me to be a difference maker, and having all of that fall into place. It was beautiful.